Hey guys, Scott here, and I wanted to finally put some true tests to whether or not the spirit has tells that she's using her power. Now, right now, the game is bugged and she makes the sound when she's using her power, even in the Terraria, so as of this patch, this video is completely irrelevant because you have a very clear sign she's using her power, but let's pretend that bug is not a thing. I really wanted to see because I've always heard people saying mixed things. I haven't been able to see like shards glow and stuff like that, but some people have shown footage of it, so I was really never sure, and I really wanted to test this, so that's what I did. And let's go and just go over the first main thing, which is if you are close enough, yes, her shards 100% get brighter. This is a confirmed thing on basically all of her skins. They do get brighter. Now, you have to basically be touching her model to notice this, which means you're dead anyway. But from a purely testing and technical standpoint, it was cool to see that, yes, they do get brighter and it's clear as day. Again, assuming you're right next to her. So that's awesome. I even wanted to test her other skins. Like the schoolgirl outfit has a way harder to see shards, and you can just barely see the difference. It's like right, it's like there to there. You can see the difference. Again, you got to be basically touching the spirit, but even on the skins where it's very hard to see, you can see it. Again, I'm looking over slowed footage, but this is from a purely technical testing standpoint. Her shards 100% get brighter on basically every skin. Actually, we even tested the Halloween skin. This one's a bit less clear. This is not really a good example because it's all of her shards are bright, and you can't really. It's like very inconsistent. There's one thing I noticed, like her little ribbon thing back here sort of like disappears and like moves to the other side. Basically all of this seems like it's unintentional stuff. Like I feel like that's not the tell for the power that they envision. They're like, all right, when we design Spirit, when she uses her power, her ribbon physics are gonna just fuck up and just like go to the other side. I'm pretty sure this is all unintentional, but that's irrelevant, I guess, to the case because there are slight changes in the actual brightness of the shards on all of her skins. It's just the Halloween one, her ribbon moves in a specific way. So that is cool. I wasn't ever 100% sure on that. I saw footage of it. I didn't know if it was true. But we know that is in fact true. But let's go on to actual realistic scenarios. You're not going to be touching the spirit and looking at her while she uses her power. That's just unrealistic. If you're that close, she's just going to hit you in the face. She's going to hear you, even if you have Iron Will. There's no way you're getting out of that situation alive. So let's look at an actual distance that is realistic, with like her on the other side of a loop or something like that. So from this side, tell me if you can see her chard's actual change here. You can't see shit. There's no brightness of the shards whatsoever. Well, the one thing I did notice is her hair physics glitched the fuck out for like one frame. Right there. So, again, I feel like none of this is intentional. Like, they didn't design Spirit and go, well, her tell is that her physics are just going to completely fuck up and shoot her hair like a ray beam across the sky. That's definitely not intentional, but in terms of her using her power, that did happen one time, and I wanted to see it again. So here, actually, let me look at this footage again. Maybe I missed her hair glitching out again this time. But from this distance, I just want to point it out, you cannot see her shards change at all. From a realistic distance, it's impossible to tell the difference. There's just no way. It's way too minor of a difference. I just want to see if her hair freaks out this time. It does! Oh my god. It actually does. Okay, so I guess if you have an eagle eye... I guess if you have an eagle eye, and you can notice things that happen in one frame out of, 120 frames a second, her hair does fuck up. Here's the thing. While I was playing, when I was actually recording this, I didn't notice any of this. Now that I'm actually going back and looking at the footage, yeah, that's obviously very, I can see that. But that is less than 1/120th of a second for me. So I don't have the eyes to see that in an actual game. So in terms of actually using this in a game, seeing her hair glitch out like that is not a counter, because we did this a bunch of times. I never once saw this. This is the first time I'm seeing it, looking at it right now, looking at the footage. That is actually hilarious, though. So that is when she started using her power. Let me see one more time on this side. Again, from a fair distance. Can't see her shard change at all. Let's look for the hair. The glitch out. Nope. See, I didn't see it that time at all. She's right here. Maybe it was earlier. Nope. Yeah, so this is my whole point. Spirit is just a lot of a lot of guessing and a lot of inconsistency and a lot of unpredictability. And so far from what I've seen, the only consistent thing is you can walk up to her model and see her shards change, which is really neat. Like I didn't actually know that for sure. So that's really cool. But in a realistic scenario, there is no consistent way to tell if she's using her power other than the bug that's happening right now. So like you can see right here, none of that. You can't see her shards. You can't see her hair glitch out. You can't see her animation reset. There is zero tell whatsoever she was using her power here. And, that's kind of my point. It's not at all consistent. I feel like none of these things are even intentional design. This is just shit that just happens and people have actually picked up on it, which again is really neat. But in terms of practical use, like it's way too inconsistent to matter. Like I even want to study the animation changes more because a lot of people said you can see her animation sort of reset when she uses her power. So let's see if that is the case. I'm looking for the shard. So right here. Okay. You can see. What? Damn, I'm noticing all sorts of weird shit. Why did the grass change below her? When she started facing, the grass changed. Man, this is some weird shit. Okay, so if anything, I'm learning from all of this that I guarantee this is not intended. This is just a bug. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they fix this. But okay, let's ignore the grass because I'm just assuming that's I don't know what the hell that even is. I just want to see the actual animation. So she uses her power and it's pretty smooth transition. I'm not noticing any snaps. Her hair physics are not changing. This looks pretty smooth. There's no real there's no snapping there at all. The only thing that changes is the grass, like the LOD of the grass changes for some reason. I don't know how that's related, but it does start the second she starts facing, so I don't know. Okay, yeah, so animations resetting or hair resetting does not seem to be true because that's extremely smooth and there's no difference there. So shards definitely glow. You can only tell if they're glowing if you're basically touching her, which at that point you're dead. It doesn't matter. At a normal distance, you cannot see her shards glow whatsoever. This is just no way you can tell she's using her power other than the hair glitching out this time. But then when she uses it this time, her hair does not glitch out. Basically, none of this shit is consistent. Sometimes she has zero tells. Sometimes her hair glitches out. Sometimes she happens to be close enough for you to see her shards. But if she's that close, you're dead. So although it's really cool that sometimes in a testing scenario you can tell when she's using her power, I find none of this to be of practical use in an actual match. There might be some scenario where, 1 out of 10 times all the variables align and you see the shards glow because she's right next to you and she's not just hitting you for some reason. So I think it is possible occasionally, sometimes, inconsistently to tell when she's beginning her power. Granted, again, none of this matters right now because she's bugged and you can just hear her using her power. But assuming that's not the case, in perfect scenarios, yes, you can tell. Is this at all consistent or even slightly consistent? No. 9 times out of 10, this is not going to work for you. But it is cool to see in a testing scenario that it is something that happens. Trying to think what else I can go over. I mean, even let's say that she lit on fire when she started using her power. I still don't think that's the strongest part of Spirit. The strongest part of Spirit is when she's using her power, that's it. Now you basically just have to guess where she is. If you hear her footsteps, she's likely so close that you're dead. Now that they're removing collision, I think this is a lot more interesting. She might run through you and get, tripped up for a second. But for right now, I feel like it doesn't really matter that much. And I guess that's my main point. So it's cool to see, but in an actual game, I can't really see any of this of being of actual any use. But that is it. I still think Spirit is, her main strength is not this standing still thing. It's the fact that you can't tell where she is once she starts. Like I just recorded a 2-hour session of just pure Spirit games, not even coming remotely close to losing. And this is when Spirit's bugged, and you know when she's using her power immediately. I don't think that's your main strength. I think her strength is the fact that she moves almost twice as fast as people, and they have no idea where you are when you're using it. So, although Although this stuff is very cool, I feel like a lot of it is not practical, but damn, it's good to just finally know for 100% sure what happens and what doesn't. The only thing that is guaranteed is that her shards glow. That is the only thing to take away from this, is that 100% her shards glow when she uses her power. The problem is you need to be basically touching her to notice it. So I feel like I've said this 80 times, but in a testing standpoint, 100% valid. This is a very true thing that happens. In a practical game, in a normal setting, it doesn't really matter. And that's it. So there you go, guys. I hope this was informational. And yeah, hope to see you in the next one. Take it easy, guys.